Hello, greetings everyone, and welcome to Plus Center Practice, Powertime Practice, here on Saturday, February 6th, 2021. My name is Sucharita. For those of you who don't know me, wishing you all a very warm welcome. We have been on an adventure this month, and last week we celebrated Dr. Pillai's birthday. So there was a 3-day live virtual retreat with Dr. Pillai, giving us so many goodies, spiritual blessings, initiations into higher states of consciousness, and helping us to release negative congested energies that are contributing to bad money karma, bad relationship karma, bad health karma, and so on. So if you missed it live, you can still purchase it through Pillai Center Academy and join the live follow-up calls starting tomorrow with the teachers, including myself, Swami Nivali, Lalita Varahi, and also Padmaji. So please do consider joining and jumping into that program, getting the grace and the blessings that are eternal. So even though they were live last week, the energy is so powerful, and we're going to unpack all of it for everyone who is going to join. So hopefully Radha is here, and we'll post the link for you to explore if you're new to the teachings, or if you've been around for a while and you couldn't afford it at the time. Now it's an evergreen course, so jump in for the live teaching calls, and then thereafter you'll have access to the course materials forever. So now what's happening here in Powertime Practice, as it is every week, we share about all the blessings coming from the cosmos. So Dr. Pillai aligns with the cosmic energy that is going on right now. And this week is going to be coming up is a new moon that is a power time for accessing blessings from the ancestors. And so most people have realized here at Pillai Center Practice, and also Pillai Center, Astrovid, Pillai Center Academy, all the courses that we've been taking, we've been diving into these spiritual teachings, but how come nothing is changing? Or very little is changing on the outside. Inside, there's a lot of transformation. However, how come I can't manifest the house that I want, or the car that I want? Or why are my relationships so up and down? And there's so much bickering and fighting with family, friends. How come I can't get a promotion, or I can't get a job? Especially during COVID time, where this is very uncertain time. So we don't even know why things are happening. And you can say it's because of karma in previous lifetimes. But if you've stumbled across Dr. Pillai's teachings, he's going to give you a way out. So this month is called Thai and Tamil, and it goes from mid-month to mid-month, so mid-January to mid-February. And it is going to be helping us to get the blessings of the ancestors, even the gods, even the sages, even the saints, even the siddhas, all the divine beings come back to the earth plane in their light body, in their spiritual body, to come and do this special Tarpanam. So Tarpanam is an ancestral offering. And the earth plane is the only plane that you can do rituals and remedies. That's what the great thing is about being here on the earth plane, is that, yeah, we've made mistakes and we've messed up, and so have our ancestors. And there are congested energies in our DNA. So we may have killed people in other lifetimes, or our ancestors did. And then we got cursed. We had to carry the curse or the sins of the forefathers or the foremothers, those who have gone before us. So ancestors, again, are those people who are dead. They're no more. They've passed on. And your ancestors are not just your grandparents and your great-grandparents. It's all those who have died. So, for example, if your children passed away before you, or if your cousins or aunts or uncles or people who were far removed from you, maybe through marriage or maybe through divorce. So anyone who was related to you biologically, or through your lineage, through marriage, through your gene pool that you decided to come into and be with those people, and then maybe have kids or not, it's those people who have passed away need to go into higher realms. And how do we know that they need to go into higher realms? Is because we'll look at our life. We're on a spiritual path. We're really good people. Why aren't we having breakthroughs? And we're doing all these spiritual practices, chanting mantras, doing meditations. We're being charitable. But then we've got to get the blessings of the ancestors. Again, as I mentioned, for those people who are just joining now, our ancestors are also our spiritual ancestors. So there's a soul genetics, as Dr. Pillai coined the term, where our soul has to do something to relieve the suffering that it has carried through the lifetimes. And it keeps coming in and finding the same kinds of people or situations, karmas, planetary influences. And then those ancestors who are evolving, they will get to the level of gods, or maybe even to the level of highly evolved beings. And so they'll be able to radiate that intelligence inside of us because we share their genes, we share their DNA. And people might say, how do you know that? How can you measure that? Well, look at your eyes, look at your nose, look at your face, look at the color of your skin, look at, the teeth, maybe look at your personality, maybe the qualities or characteristics. You'll go, oh my God, you're just like your mother. You're just like your father, or great-grandmother, or great-grandfather, or you're just like so-and-so who had passed away. So the nose on your face might be your uncle's nose. Your eyes might be your great aunt's nose or eyes. So that's how we know, is through the expression of the genes and the physical manifestation. Okay, that's one way. But at the DNA level of the soul genetics, so the soul's DNA is that which we really want to get into, because our ancestors are in spiritual realms. They're no longer physical, so they can't really relate to the nose on our face. Okay, well, that's fine, but they don't have that anymore. They need to get something inside of them, just like we need to have food, we need to have clothing, we need to have shelter, we need to have medicine when it's required, we need to have clean water to drink so we don't get sick and diseased, we need to have a high education, get on our spiritual path. We need to get along with everyone. So all these needs, basic needs as a human being, sometimes they are very challenging, and we may or may not have it at one point or another. We may have gone through financial crisis or relationship crisis, or we are. And how do we come out of it? So that's how we see that the ancestors are not able to bless us if we are struggling so much, and we've done all the things that we know we can do, and we're still not having the breakthroughs in the life that we want to see in the material plane and also on our spiritual path. So blessings from the ancestors, time of Asya, a very powerful time of the year, is like a vortex opening up. And then all the gods, the saints, the angels, the siddhas, the masters will come through that window or portal of spiritual energy. And then they will be doing the Tarpanam along with us energetically, spiritually. And if we sponsor, how does that work? Well, we are connected to our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, and so on. So anyone that is here, the descendants of the ancestors, the descendants are the people who are alive, and you're related to them in some way or another. Even if you don't know who your gene pool is, your relatives, maybe you were adopted, or maybe you were found in a basket at a church step and then you were adopted out, or you married into a family and then you got divorced and you didn't have kids. So are you still related to that person who passed away? Yes. So you are, your DNA, your genes will let you know by how you are struggling or you are not struggling in life. People can be rocking in life because they have the blessings of the ancestors. So I'm just going to share a little bit about what Dr. Pillai says. There's a gift-giving time from the ancestors to their descendants who are living in this earth plane. The ancestors who passed from the earth are living in another plane, and they're going to give abundant blessings. So I want you to take advantage of this time. You may even be able to converse with them during this time. Think about them, but the most important thing is doing the Tarpanam, which is the offering to them. So that's Dr. Pillai's sharing about this Amavasya, which is the first new moon after the sun starts moving in the northern hemisphere. In the Vedic calendar, the northward movement of the sun marks the dawn in heaven and fills the earth plane with auspicious energy of renewal. And it kind of makes sense because we are all looking forward to springtime. It's so darn cold here in Toronto, Canada, with winter. So we are planting the seeds internally such that when the springtime comes, we will bloom into a new way of being, a renewed way of being, and expressing our energy. So the sun represents what? The soul. Solar, as in sun, represents the soul energy, as in that sun inside of us. So it will be transiting, the sun will be transiting Capricorn, the 10th sign of the natural zodiac, which represents karma. And karma is your actions, your thoughts, your actions, everything that you're doing, everything that you're thinking, everything that's happening, and you're reacting to the things that you're acting. So it's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the Kataka, or the planet of karma. So Saturn's energy delivers the karma, and Saturn is related to the ancestors. So he is the brother of the god of death, Yama. So you can see in the cosmos that there are these interplays between these divine beings, these divine archetypes, planetary beings, conscious beings. We're not just the only conscious beings here on the earth plane. We're revolving around the sun, and so are all the other planets. So we're interfacing with these energies that are being drawn into the sun, and the sun is empowering all these planetary beings, including ourselves on this planet. So during this time, Amavasya, Amavasya means new moon, Tai is the month. So during this time, your action towards liberating your ancestors by performing the Tarpanam, which is this food offering to them, will be fruitful. The placement of the sun in Saturn's house. So Saturn is the sun, S-O-N, of the sun, S-U-N. So you can see how the sun, the soul, the god of death, Yama, Saturn, all these karmic interplays are lining up to say, hey, this is the most powerful thing that you can do for you to begin to evolve and get the blessings pouring through your whole gene pool. Your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your kids, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your extended family may not know what the heck you're doing, but they're going to feel it. And how will you know? Is you will see it. You will see the changes, especially people who are suffering from addictions or from things like financial crises or relationship issues, divorce, problems with children. So things like gambling addictions, alcohol or drug addictions, sex addiction, shopping addiction. They can't come out of their problems, and you are related and somehow you want to help them. So this is the way, and it's the secret that is unlocked from your soul's consciousness as you appease the ancestors. Then they say, hey, you are so blessed. And then your genes that you share with the people who are here on the earth plane with you, whether you know them or not, whether you're estranged from them or not, whether you were adopted out or not, you have these relatives that are going to be experiencing the blessings. So you don't have to get involved in their karma, but they can receive the blessings, because whatever you do on your spiritual path, anyone who is in your karmic gene pool or your karmic life is going to benefit. So as you change, you are the change for everyone else to change that channel and experience a change in the destiny. So if you're destined to suffer and you do the things to appease the ancestors, offering the Tarpanam, and if you participate in the paid services, there are so many other things which we're going to get to in a minute. So then the blessings will spill over into your life. So you will be able to receive blessings for you, your children, and future generations. So ancestors come to down to the earth plane, Dr. Pillai says, every new moon, but this new moon is exceptional. So each month there is a full moon and a new moon, and there's a waxing cycle and a waning cycle of the moon. So about 15 days on the waxing cycle of the moon. So from the new moon to the full moon is 15 moons. And then because you'll look in the sky from the new moon, you can't see the moon. And then you get to the full moon and it's bright, big, round circle. And that's the 15th day. And then from the new moon, or from the full moon to the new moon, is the waning cycle. So new moons happen every month. So there's like 12 or 13, depending on the year. So once a month, there's a new moon. However, at this particular time of the year, this new moon is a vortex that opens up and says, you need the blessings of your ancestors, and here's how you do it. So this new moon will reduce the impact of pitru dosha. So pitru means your ancestors. Dosha means afflictions. So what are you carrying as the sin of the forefathers or the foremothers, the ancestors who have gone before you? It's being expressed through you. As Dr. Pillai says, your genes think. You may think, oh, I'm never going to be like my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, if they're messed up. You will just say, no, I'm spiritual and I'm not going to be that. And yet you are. And it's a battle. And you try so hard not to be. So it's such a struggle, even though you may not be experiencing what they're going through. Internally, you are challenged by it. And you also feel for those who are suffering. And you feel like, I just want to be able to do something to help them to come out of it. So this is the thing. So dosha is whatever is afflicting you, as I mentioned earlier are things like financial crises. Time and again, you can't seem to get ahead. Money will come and money will go. Debt will be there. And it seems like it's forever and you can't climb out of it. So that is an affliction that you inherited. Did you sign up for it? No, you inherited it. And how terrible is that? It is terrible. So you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be a victim to it. This is the thing that will help you to come out of it. So doing the right thing at the right time is going to relieve you of the suffering that your ancestors have been afflicted with, and they are continually going on in wherever they are in other realms. Maybe they're in hellish realms. Some ancestors, as Dr. Pillai has said over the years, especially 25 years ago when I started, and he said, your ancestors are hanging upside down. And I was like, what? But then I felt so like in the pit of my stomach. I felt so sick and nauseated. And it was because he had woken up inside of me. He said, get awake about this. Wake up and notice what's going on inside of you. And that it was like that was the pit of despair, although it was the truth. So the truth is that which is causing you to have that really eerie feeling, or you feel like you're surrounded by these energetic beings. They're in the spiritual realm, and they're surrounding us as well. It's like a dark cloud kind of pressing on us, or we feel like we're under attack. We have curses that come through. Maybe we had fabulous ancestors, but people were really jealous of them and they cursed them. Or maybe our ancestors were really spiritually evolved beings, but then they got on the dark side at some point, and then they messed up. And so the gods got all mad at them. So that's what an affliction is. That's what a dosha is. It's something that we inherit because they did it. And it may not be in one generation, two generation, three generations ago. It might be in God knows what generation. So as Dr. Pillai has shared, at least 6 or 7 generations, those are the ancestors who have gone before us, who are really impacting us. So if you just do a little walk down memory lane right now, and you look at, was there divorce? Were there affairs that the ancestors had gone through? Were there illegitimate babies that were born, children that were born? Were there multiple marriages? Were there financial crises? Were there bad business dealings? Were there abuse of any kind, physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and then drug and alcohol addiction? So these are the kinds of things, if you see that in your life, smoking, even during this time, you might feel a craving for it. People have sugar cravings or food cravings. They eat a lot and then they throw it up, so they can't get enough. So it can be those kinds of addictions too, that you're just like, that's not me, but why am I craving this smoking or drinking or a meat, and you're vegetarian, or you're a meat eater and then you're craving vegetarian food. So it may be the ancestors who are whispering in your ear and expressing their self through your genes, through your DNA, and that's speaking to you, because the DNA is in every cell, and even including in your brain cells, in your nervous system. So you may be feeling a little bit out of sorts during this time of Asya. So this affliction, which happens due to the non-performance of Tarpanam, and this is key. So why is it happening? And why is it happening? Because we did our funeral rites for the ancestors. It may have been that you ancestors who have gone before you committed suicide, and you have suicidal thoughts, or you did, or you continue to feel like, oh God, what's the point of life? And you're like, why am I thinking this way? So these ancestors who are real, who have suffered, and they continue to suffer, as mentioned before by Dr. Pillai, they may be hanging upside down in realms because they committed suicide. And it's not just because it's in the scriptures across the traditions, the religious traditions, that it's a sin or it's a big problem. It's at the level of the soul. It goes into this anxiety, and you feel fear or you feel anxious. People who I've known over the years, they're so successful in life and they have these great families, but inside of themselves, they are so anxious. They're so stressed throughout their whole life, and they don't even know what it is. And they're not necessarily fearful of anything. It's they feel this anxiety, this angst. And that can be the ancestors expressing themselves, but they don't know what it is. So these ancestral offerings, the Tarpanam offering, can impact you to a great extent and may manifest you as, again, chronic illnesses or prolonged illnesses or chronic diseases that have no cure, it seems. You've tried everything and there just is nothing that is relieving you of this. So misunderstandings, miscommunication, bickering and fighting, dirty looks. Someone might be saying to you, oh, did you have a nice day? And all of a sudden you get in a fight. What? That's the ancestors expressing some energy through you so that it gets misinterpreted. And then you start arguing, you start fighting. Your kids don't like you. Your kids don't want to be with you. They don't even want to talk to you or text you anymore. And you're just like, what happened? That's the ancestors who are afflicted. So again, even though we may have done our funeral rites in our culture, our tradition, if you are still experiencing these kinds of things, you don't know which ancestor it was. So it's not just your grandparents, not just your great-grandparents. It is all those who have passed away can become restless spirits if they're trapped or they are struggling. And how they will let you know is you'll look in the areas of your life that you are experiencing the challenges. So again, no progress in career. You are better. You are more educated. You are more talented. You are more beautiful or handsome. You are more helpful. You have more friends, and yet you cannot progress. You cannot get promoted. You cannot be successful in your business, and you just are scratching your head till it's bleeding, and you're wondering, why? Why is this happening? So once you begin to appease the ancestors, especially during this time of the year, one of the 3 most powerful times, the powerful new moons of the year, for you to be relieved of all the problems, all the challenges that your ancestors gave you. That was their gift to you. Did you want it? No, but you got it. You inherited it. So you inherited a mess. You inherited all these afflictions, and you're struggling to try to figure out how to come out of it. So progeny-related issues. Can't have a kid. How many people are struggling and with infertility, and it's so costly and it still doesn't work? Or you've been waiting and waiting and waiting and trying and trying and trying, and it's not going to happen. So that is the ancestors saying you're not going to have this lineage carry on. So we've got to appease the ancestors in order for us to, and especially for our kids, the generation that's coming up, it's underneath us. We don't want them to continue on with that problem. So connecting the souls of your ancestors when the sun is in Capricorn, this month of Thai, and it enables you to receive your ancestors' blessings in abundance. So these departed souls are elevated beings who deserve the Tarpanam offerings. Feeding your ancestors through this can help them to become your greatest benefactors. So Dr. Pillai says it's extremely difficult to progress in life. So it's difficult to progress in life without your ancestors' blessings. So on this time of Amavasya, this new moon, Amavasya again is new moon for those of you who are just joining, and thanks so much for joining. Lovely to see you. It's an important, Astrobet is going to be performing Tarpanam at Kashi, and Kashi is one of the most important places in India for performing Tarpanam for ancestors. Among all other places to perform Tarpanam, the scriptures have said that Kashi is Kasi, so Kasi also sounds like Kashi, is to be the greatest place. So the significance of the city Kashi has been mentioned in the sacred text, the Skanda Purana. It states that it is the sacred place for securing punya. So punya is the result of your good deeds. So you know you've done good deeds, but you can't get the benefits. It's like we're waiting for the return on our investment. We've invested this whole life doing good deeds or previous lifetimes, yet we didn't get the blessings from the ancestors. They cannot help us because they're stuck. So it is this paying it forward, and it's also a win-win. So the good deeds have been done in the past and in the future, and it's the holiest of places which can absolve all the sins and grant liberation, moksha, salvation. So Dr. Pillai says sponsoring the Tarpanam on this new moon is a great opportunity and the most effective means for feeding and potentially freeing your departed loved ones and the ancestors. So the priests at Astraved, the Vedic specialists, are going to be performing these ancestral offerings on our behalf if you want to participate in that, to ensure that your genetic line is spiritually well fed. That means they have food, clothing, shelter, medicine, everything that we need here on the earth plane, and a big fat bank account, and even then some, so that you can help others who are struggling and suffering as well. And also education, promotions and jobs, businesses, success, success, success. So that means they're well fed, and that means that you have done what you can do, and then they are free. They don't want to disturb you anymore. They've got what they needed. So the Tarpanam offerings will help to free the souls of your ancestors, and the most significant act to also remove the hardships in your life. So many people say, why is this my life so painful? And this is it. And you will know in the pit of your gut, like I did, when Dr. Pillai said to me many years ago, when I first met him, and he said, your ancestors are really in hellish realms. And I was like, what? And it was so true. And I was bawling my head off. I was crying. I was like, is there something that I can do? And then he said, yeah, start doing Tarpanam. So as I began the journey, propitiating the ancestors, everything in my life and also in my family's life, who were so afflicted with divorce, problems with the kids, bickering and fighting, screaming and yelling, abuse, physical abuse, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, mental illness, people who have mental illness, depression, suicide, schizophrenia, you name it, it's in my gene pool. So that was, I got relief over the years. And as Dr. Pillai has been aligning with the cosmos and the divine beings, all the ancestors on the spiritual path, the Tamil Siddha tradition, have said, all right, now is the time that the golden age is coming in, so you can give more powerful ways in which people can participate. So since we've had the year-long Tarpanam programs, which is, I think it's a few years now, I've been participating, and I love it because it's a monthly payment. So I don't even miss it. I've just been signing up, and every month, every day, so many rituals and remedies get done in all these power spots, including Kashi, including Rameshwaram, the power spot to remove stubborn karma and to honor and propitiate the ancestors. And not just your gene pool, but the spiritual ancestors. So the gods who are cursing you as well, cursing all of us, or planets who are cursing us. We're going through really hard planetary times. Everyone is. There's a major planetary influence. So in our lives at any given point in time. And then that those karmas will be delivered, and that will either make us or break us. So if you're feeling like I'm broken and I just can't take it, or if you feel like, how come I'm so successful, but everybody else around me, in my gene pool, in my family life, in my friend circle, at my workplace, you think your ancestors are only in your relatives. No, they're going to show up in your workplace. And you might say, no, how is that possible? Well, look at the people who you work with. Who do they remind you of? Your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, your grandparents. Yes, you can see them. You were just like, oh man, I thought I escaped you. Now you're showing up. Oh man. So that's how the ancestors, they don't have a body. They are restless spirits if they're afflicted, and they are trying to get your attention. And if you're struggling and suffering, once again, I'll keep saying it, look at the area of your life and how long it's been such a block or an obstacle. Even though you're such a great person, you're so educated, you're so fabulous, you're giving, you're kind, you're charitable, and why are you struggling with chronic illness, unresolved issues, problems with the relationships, can't even relate to people, don't have any friends, or the friends you have are backstabbing you, frenemies. You have a lot of frenemies, or you have problems with your family. Maybe your kids, you raise your kids, you have a fabulous relationship with your kids. Then all of a sudden, one day, they decide that you are the Wicked Witch of the West, or, you're some kind of ghouly guy. And no more are you that loving mother or father to them. And you're just like, what happened? And they are like, leave me alone. I want to live my own life. I can't stand you. And that is just heartbreaking. So why is that? Well, you may find out through your lineage that it's going on in all the ancestors' lives, or in one part of the lineage. So once again, the ancestors who are really impacting this lifetime are about 6 or 7 generations removed from you. So the 6 or 7 generations you may know by your history, or you just know it inside. Because see, I didn't really know my ancestors. I lived that kind of life where the relatives were all kind of distant. Even though they lived in the same city, they were really fighting and bickering. So it was unfortunate that I didn't get to know my cousins through the bickering and fighting of our parents. And they're no more. All of them are gone. I think I have one aunt left here on the earth plane, but all the rest are gone, and there was lots. So, and then the cousins, I don't really know them, and they are all struggling. Over the years, I found out all the disease and all kinds of mental and physical, emotional problems. And people were, there was schizophrenia in my family, including my mother and my uncle. And so they passed away. And since then, I've had naughty readings and Vedic astrology consultations. And the very first thing that any of them say, and they don't know me, these are different readers throughout the years, and they will say, you have the blessings of your mother. And I thank Dr. Pillai, because she had struggled and it was so horrible. It was a horrible life, and horrible for her. She had a horrible life. And so it was just terrible to know that such a struggle was going to be perhaps expressed, the next generation, the kids' generation. And that's a scary thing. You don't want anybody to have to inherit that mess. So as my mother, who had passed away, she was getting the blessings through the Tarpanam, the year-long Tarpanam that includes this time of Asya. Then she's always blessing. She's in higher realms, and she's in a glorious state. That's what they say. She's riding golden chariots. I'll get a message every time I do a Tarpanam, or I'm in the year-long Tarpanam program. But I know Hanuman Das, who is this blessed being, and he is in charge of the Tarpanams that go on in Kerala. So he will say, yep, your mom is giving you lots of blessings, and all your ancestors are getting blessings from her, because she's directly related to me. The DNA there's more DNA that's shared with her and I, and then all her brothers and sisters who have passed away, they're coming out of their harms and hurdles. So, and then I have 5 siblings here. So you can see in your life how whatever you're doing, being on a spiritual path, you have so many blessings that will pour through beyond what you can say or do for those in your life here on the earth plane who are struggling and suffering. So that's what's been happening. And then that's how you will know, as Dr. Pillai says, you might even be able to feel the blessings coming through the ancestors who are really happy now. They're able to, at a soul level and a spiritual level, to be relieved of the burden that they carried through the gene pool. So it helps us to be really compassionate, even though we may have been physically, mentally, emotionally abused. I was. And you can't forgive and you can't forget. It's so painful. It's in your genes, and it makes you to shake, and it makes you to not ever think that there will be a way out, or that you could ever have a relationship with those beings, even though they've passed away. My relationship with my mom is super cool now. So, and it's so light, and it's so blessed, and it's so joyful. And never in my life did I think that I would be able to experience that. So, as Dr. Pillai shares, and as this door, this portal, this gateway to the divine realms opens up, it is going to be the kingdom of heaven is going to open up, and in the realm, in the cosmic realms, as well as that kingdom of heaven within you. And then you will receive the blessings and the relief from your suffering, maybe from guilt. My God, I was guilt-ridden. I was angry. I was hateful. I had all these very yucky depression was there, fear. Maybe I was going to inherit schizophrenia. Oh my God. I just went through the whole gamut and then saw it being expressed in the gene pool here, all the relatives, and now it's no more. What? Yep, no more. So that is the blessings and the mystical experiences that you can be seeing in the life. It's not just a spiritual thing. It's not just something that's going on inside of you. You're seeing it in your life in all aspects. So you might find a way out of a chronic disease. So if you inherited things like arthritis, that's anger in the joints, or you experience cancers, something that's eating you away, as cancer does. And that can be something that you inherited. So it's long and drawn out. Our heart conditions are broken hearts. So you can get all that relief from like a physical, chronic, long and drawn out. Ancestors, you've heard of snake curses or snake afflictions. What the heck is that? That is because when you look at the snake planets or planetary influences in someone's birth chart, so Rahu and Ketu, they are representing, those influences are representing the ancestors. So Rahu Ketu afflictions, snake afflictions, because it's the head and the tail of the snake in the mythical sense, but also they're impacting your mind. So you can have snaky energy or snaky people or snaky backstabbing situations in your life, or people who are jealous of you, give you evil eye, or they even do black magic on you. What? Because the ancestors did it. So it's going to continue on until you clean that up. How do you clean it up? Through the Tarpanam. So this is a very powerful time, and you can get rid of those afflictions as well. So Ravi Chandra Homas, the Sun and the Moon Fire Lab, is one of the rituals, the remedies that will get done on your behalf. Sun represents the father, and the moon represents the mother. So the sun is called the pitru karaka, the significator of paternal ancestors. So father's side is paternal, mother's side is maternal. And the moon is the matru karaka, the significator of the maternal ancestors. So performing this Ravi Chandra, Ravi is sun, Chandra is moon. The Homa or the fire lab can help to liberate the souls. Karpasamy, we talked about him a little not so long ago. So Karpasamy is this guy who rides a horse, and he wields a sword, and he is this he'll just cut to the truth. He's the god, he's a performer god, and he wants to cut the afflictions away from you. So honoring him on Time Amavasya will help the souls who are trapped in the astral plane, and then you'll receive the blessings. So the Karpasamy Homa or Fire Lab, the puja, the hydration ceremony is going to be done at Dr. Pillai's family temple in Rameshwaram. And you will get divine protection that helps to set right the problems in your life. So things that you just don't deserve, or maybe lawsuits. That's a big one. And I think Dr. Pillai's flower just fell off his head, the statue. And maybe you'll be stopping this once the recording is there and you can see it. So I'm not sure what I said, but that was a sign that, yes, maybe it's because I said it's Dr. Pillai's temple. So please know it's the truth. Whenever we're looking for a sign from the divine, is this true? There will be a message that comes through. And that was pretty obvious. So the flower fell off Dr. Pillai's head. As we're talking about doing this Karpasamy remedy at his temple in Rameshwaram, the power spot to remove very stubborn karma, feeding the cows with agati leaves. So these are special sacred spinach leaves. When you feed them to the cows, then you get the blessings. How does that work? It doesn't matter. It's like taking a Tylenol when you have a headache. It just goes away. So Dr. Pillai says, according to the scriptures, gods, goddesses, and ancestors all reside in the cow. So you feed the ancestors by feeding a cow on this Amavasya, this new moon. Feeding for people when you feed someone who is hungry, who is starving. Your ancestors are starving. So when you feed someone here on the earth plane who is starving, you're feeding the souls of the ancestors. And then you get the blessings. And then what happens after that? Prosperity. So prosperity isn't just money in the bank. It is happiness, joy, life. You feel this vitality. You are this physical and mental and emotional being who is so energetic, and you are so vital, and you're just pouring this energy over into everyone, and you just can't imagine being any other way. That's what will happen, prosperity. So you can take a look at it. I think that Radha has probably posted the link for this sacred offering. And there are, again, the year-long Tarpanam is explained. There are various ways that you can participate based on your budget. Now, when I first started doing the year-long Tarpanam, I could only afford a certain amount of money every month. And then all of a sudden, the ancestors were being blessed and money started to pour in. And I was like, okay, money's coming in. So I'm going to go up to the next level. And as I did that, then more money came in. And I thought, okay, that's the ancestors who are blessed. So now I'm going to take it to the next level. And I think I'm in the royal plus level now, which I never thought I would be able to afford to do. However, that's the tithing, or you take a stake in your life and you say, hey, you know what? Whatever comes in, I'm going to invest. And the return on my investment is going to come from the divine. And the divine is going to be so much more abundant than I could ever imagine. Maybe just putting some money in the bank into a savings account. Oh, no, it's beyond that. So I can attest to it. And many people who have, they said, Sutrita, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. And then they started and the journey began and they went, why did I wait? So this is why we always say, please, if you can, just start somewhere and you will start to receive all the blessings of all the investment of your mantra practices, your meditations. You'll get the good benefits from it, because it's kind of like they're sitting in this, they're locked into a long-term investment and you're not getting a return on it. It's not allowing you to receive the benefits of it yet. So try it out. So the food feedings, there's a lot of donations. There's individual Tarpanam at Kerala, as I mentioned before. And I believe there's also individual fire labs that you can participate in. So please consider doing that. Take a look at it. Even if you can't afford it, you just go, oh my God, I can't afford that. I was like that too. And then all of a sudden I read about it and something inside of me started to grow and money came out of nowhere. So I said, if money comes out of nowhere, then that's a sign that the ancestors are saying, do the right thing with this, because you didn't know you had it. So it came out of nowhere. It means that the ancestors are saying, do this for me. The ancestors are saying that. And then once you do that for your ancestors, you will receive so many blessings in your life. So the ancestors love Tarpanam. And this is, I've got a big jar of it here. This is what I do is I put it in, this is a ghee jar that I've cleaned out. And what's inside of this is white rice powder. And you can see the black seeds are sesame seeds, black sesame seeds. And then I'm not sure if you can see, but maybe if I took the lid off, you can see inside there are some little pieces of darba, D-H-A-R-B-A or D-H-A-R-B-H-A, darba, not durva. Durva is the Ganesha grass, also called Bermuda grass. We don't want to, that's not that. So darba is the grass that is like superfood, or it is winning the lotto for the ancestors. So it is their money, it is their food, it is their clothing, their shelter, whatever they need on their plane of existence. That's what this minimum mix is. Minimum mix is the black sesame seeds. That's all you need, and some water. So, but if you have some white rice powder or white rice grains or rice grains, it can be brown rice or wild rice, if that's what you have, you can use that. And doesn't matter if it's jasmine or parboiled, it can just be rice. So you don't have to cook it, although if you want, you can cook it. But as an everyday practice, you wake up, the sun has risen. So once the sun comes up, you can go jump in the shower. And in the shower, you can have this, which is like a Tupperware. It's a plastic with a sealed waterproof lid, and you can toss it around and the Tarpanam mix will not fall out. So you can take this and then put a small amount on your right hand. So I'll just show you. I'm not going to do the full Tarpanam because I'm not set up for that today. But we have done so many of these videos at Pillai Center Practice, and there are also some for YouTube. So you take a small amount in your right hand like so. And then you can put your hand, so you take your shower, and then you can be even in your shower. And then you can take a coin at any denomination. It can be silver, it can be gold, it can be anything. Doesn't matter. Can be any currency. Doesn't have to be the currency of your country. Can just be a coin. So you can, this is the right hand, a small amount in the right hand on top of the coin. And then you can pour a little bit or stick your hand underneath the shower head and put a few drops there. And then you pull it back and you just hold it and you say your prayer. Please take this offering. So you ask the ancestors on your mother's side, on your father's side. You can do both in one offering, or you can do separate offerings for maternal and paternal sides. And then you can just say, please take this offering, go into higher realms, bless me, bless everyone here on the earth plane with peace, prosperity, enlightenment. And please, you can evolve with this. This is what's going to take you to those realms, those heavenly realms, those higher realms. Be relieved of the suffering. And thank you. Thank you for allowing me to offer this to you. So however you want to pray, and you will start to feel the black sesame seeds will start to jump around. You'll feel energy coming into your body. Your hand might be shaking. So as you allow the water to come over this mixture, you can make sure that you have a drain catcher in your drain so it can capture the seeds or the rice or the dharba grass that's all chopped up there, and also the coin. So you just drop it down, and then it will capture it in the drain catcher, and then you can just simply put it outside, or you can put it into the waste bin. It doesn't really matter how you do it, especially here in the West, where people might be looking at you as if you're strange. Some people who, if you're in India or in other parts of the world and you have a big property, you can do it outside if that tickles your fancy. So the main thing is you want to do the offering between sunrise and sunset, and then ask for the blessings from your ancestors. And you can do that every day. So that's something you can do. And it's you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it 108 times, especially on this power time. Some people go down to an ocean or a riverside or into a park or into the backyard even, or at their sink, or maybe they don't do it at their sink, but they do it in a bowl. And then they offer 108 times and they feel the ancestors coming. It takes, I think some people have done it for an hour or 2 or 3 even. And they just come out of that as if they went into the realm of the ancestors and communed with them and got tremendous blessings. So people always ask, okay, so what is it that I do with what do I chant? What mantra do I chant? And we're going to get to that now. So right now we are going to get into a state of receptivity. And I'm going to just dim the lights here a bit to kind of get into a meditative space. And then we will close our eyes and put our attention internally. So as you're closing your eyes and putting your attention internally, you can be calling on your higher self to receive the blessings from divine beings, from your ancestors, from Dr. Pillai, awakening your consciousness, your level of understanding of how important it is to honor the ancestors, to get the blessings for them, and then in return they'll bless you and everybody here on the earth plane. So closing your eyes, put your attention internally. Imagine a reddish orangish light pouring down your legs, into your feet, into your toes. We'll call on Ganesha to remove the obstacles. Ganesha is the divine being who will help you to understand the meaning of Om, omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence. So this all-knowing, all-powerful, and ever-present energy is connecting you to your ancestors internally in all your DNA. Feel your cells kind of popping and tingling and bouncing and bubbling as Ganesha begins to awaken the Kundalini energy, reddish orangish light pouring down your legs and back up. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Now imagine a ray of light shooting up your backbone. It's piercing the psycho-spiritual centers, the chakras that are stacked up on top of one another in your backbone of your subtle body. This ray of light or beam of light shoots up through the brain and pierces the top of the skull and goes up, up, up into the space. It's searching out your ancestors who are struggling, and they need to know you're going to do what you can to help them. And in turn, they will bless you. Feel the connection to these spiritual beings, these divine beings, as well as your genetic ancestors, your biological ancestors, gods, goddesses, spiritual masters. We'll begin at the base of the spine and enliven all the chakras. Move up to the heart center, middle of the chest. Move up to the throat and clear the throat. Move up to the middle of the brain, the third eye. Float back down to the base of the spine, also down the legs. Connect with the earth element. Na, 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 na. Move up into the navel, the belly. Fill it with water. Ma, 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 ma. Move up to the heart center, middle of the chest, also down the arms and hands and fingers. Set them on fire. She, 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 she. Move up to the throat, the mouth, the nostrils. Connect with the air element, the prana or life force. Va, 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 va. Move up to the two eyes. Keep the eyeballs steady and still. right and left brain. Connect with the ether or Akash space. Ya, 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 ya. Now, imagine Dr. Pillai appearing before you in a form you're familiar with, or a vast light. The light embraces your aura, the light around you. It begins to penetrate the pores of your skin from head to toe. Like a sponge, you're soaking up the spiritual energy radiating out from Dr. Pillai's light. Receive the light in your eyes. This light is burning the stubborn karma that you see every day in, day out. Fill the eyes with the light. The light enters your ears, piercing your eardrums. The whole inside of your head lights up. Your face lights up from the inside. And 2 rays of light shoot up either nostril. And where the 2 nostrils meet on the forehead, the spot between your 2 eyebrows, begin to feel a pulsing or pressure or tingling at the pituitary. And then just above that, about an inch on the forehead, is the pineal. Pull your energy back into the middle of your brain. The third eye awakens. Receive a light entering the mouth, the tip of the tongue, middle of the tongue, back of the tongue, and in the throat. This light erases the karma that you've spoken or that you've taken in through others' speech, or that you've taken in through poisons, toxic energies, through food or drink or conversation. Thoughts, the tongue thinks, erase it with the light. A light pierces the forehead, activating the pituitary, the pineal. Again, the third eye starts to tingle, come alive. Feel it opening in the brain. And finally, a beam of light comes from the heaven, pierces the top of the skull, gets into the brain. The neurons start to get activated, and the whole brain is tingling. The whole body begins to light up. Once again, connect with Dr. Pillai, his energy, the darshan or spiritual transmission, erasing the stubborn destiny, and empowering you to create a new reality. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Feel the eyes light up, the ears, the nostrils, the tongue, the throat, the brain, third eye, the whole body. Soak up the light. Feel it. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Now, connect with your ancestors. You don't have to call them by name. You just ask that you're connected to them. And you're going to ask the divine for mercy, compassion, unconditional love, forgiveness, to remove the sins, the mistakes, so that they can be relieved and move into higher realms and bless you and all the descendants here on the earth plane. Imagine a vast golden white light, as bright as millions of suns. It's so bright you can't see it with your eyes, but you can lose your body awareness. The mind will not be able to comprehend it, but you will know the level of your soul. Feel the cleansing of your DNA, your soul's DNA, your soul's genes. And feel your ancestors being liberated. Arutparum Jyoti, Arutparum Jyoti, Taniparam Karunai, Arutparam Jyoti. Embrace the light. Bathe in the light of unconditional love, mercy, compassion, forgiveness. Arutparam Jyoti, Arutparam Jyoti, Taniparam Karunai, Arutparam Jyoti. Embrace the light. Soak it up. Arutparam Jyoti. Arutparam Jyoti. Tani Param Karanai. Arutparam Jyoti. Arutparam Jyoti. Arutparam Jyoti. Tani Param Karunai. Arutparam Jyoti. 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 Feel the ancestors embracing the light, embracing compassion, forgiveness, mercy, release from their sins, relieving you of the suffering as well. Aum, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Once again, connect with your chakras in the spine of the subtle body. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 Imagine the ancestors who are ready to move in through the gates of heaven, heavenly realms, enjoying peace, release of the sins, and blessing you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment, peace to the world. Relax and let go. You can keep your eyes closed. And as you're slowly, slowly coming back to yourselves, you can make a prayer to Dr. Pillai for blessing you to receive this information that may be helpful for you and your family members, to explore the possibility of being released from the sins that you've inherited through the ancestors during this power time that's coming up, time of Asya. So check it out. The link is posted to the member or to the chat here, or you can go to Pillai Center or Ashraved Thai Amavasya, THI Amavasya is new moon. So that's AMA VA SYA. So Amavasya. So hopefully this has been helpful for everyone. Thanks for joining. As you're coming back, you can thank everyone inside, connecting at the level of the soul, creating this space for us to experience something more than we could on our own, through our own practice. And if you would like to, you can pop your questions or your experiences maybe on the chat. And I just wanted to mention, again, if you do the Tarpanam at home, this mixture, you just offer a coin-sized amount. You can offer it to many times in a row. What you want to do when you're offering it is you want to feel something. So you may feel a tremendous amount of energy at first, or even throughout your every day after this. Do it. It's like brushing your teeth. If you want to have good dental health, then, and it's also body health too, right? If your teeth are healthy and healthy gums, you don't have problems with the rest of your body. So we want to make sure that we are having good health of our genes. And so doing this Tarpanam, you want to feel it. So you want to have some sort of release or some sort of clarity. At first, it might be like, oh, just keep doing it. Many times as you need to in that session. It doesn't take too long, like 10 seconds can be done. You can say, oh my God, I have no time, I'm running out the door. And so you just do it between sunrise and sunset, so daylight hours. That's when you want to do it. And then you just say, okay, I need the blessings for whatever you're doing in that day. Maybe you're having meetings, or maybe you're going to have an interview, or maybe you're going to have a conversation, something important, or maybe you just want energy. You don't want to feel like you're sleepy, or feel like you're irritable, or you're fighting and bickering inside of yourself and then with everybody else. And you can't crush those thoughts or feelings or actions and you just can't help yourself. That's the ancestors. They do these silly things to us and we just can't figure out why we keep doing it. So they will be pushing us to do it and we know better, but we still do it. And it causes more pain and suffering. So just do the Tarpanam. Find creative ways to do it. I used to take it in my car when I was going to the office. And I would do it during daylight hours because I started out during the dark. The sun hadn't risen yet. And then sun was setting, had already set before I came home. So I took it in my car, and then I would take a bottle of spring water that I didn't drink and crack it, and then just do the Tarpanam outside my car in a parking lot. Or in nature. Some people do it in the bathrooms at work if it's pretty clean. So you can do it in your shower. You can do it in the sink. You can wait till you get dressed after your shower and then go down, or wherever your kitchen is, go to your kitchen and do it there, or outside. The main thing is you want to, some people say, well, I don't want to take a shower or whatever. That's fine. Splash it on your face, splash some water on your face, brush your teeth, be presentable to your ancestors. And then you'll start to realize that, the shower is actually cleansing my body, mind, and soul. And my cells are happy. They're being cleansed. So you can think of it that way or try it out. Everybody's using their own body, mind, and soul as their spiritual experimental tool or apparatus to see, hey, did this work? So you can honor your ancestors that way. Again, you can go down to a lake or into the forest or into a river, but please, ocean side, make sure that you're being discreet because you don't want to attract any negative attention. And when you're doing this offering, you want to be in a sacred space or into that headspace. At least you want to be in that sacred headspace where you're really communing because you'll be a blubbering mess in some cases. Some people say I didn't feel a thing, but then later in the day, oh my God, all of a sudden they have a meltdown. So these tools that Dr. Pillai gives us is so super easy to do. Just use your right hand though for the offering. You can pour with your left if you're going to pour the water, or stick it under the tap with the right hand. If you've done it with your left hand, you go, oh my God, it didn't work. Don't worry about it. You didn't know. So now just use your right hand. Even if you're left-handed, writing, eating, whatever, right hand is the traditional offering hand. Ask me why. I don't know. Just is. So, because it's right. I don't know. It's just like if you ask me, how does Tylenol work? I don't really care. I just want my headache to go away. So, Yogini is saying, thank you so much. My grandmother passed today, and I was wondering what I could do tonight. And here you are, Power Time for Ancestors. Many blessings to my grandmother. Oh, God bless your grandmother, Yogini. And please take a look at the Tarpanam. You may want to do the funeral rites for her soul. So you can do the Tarpanam as a funeral rite as well for the spiritual path. Even if you belong to, I belong to a Catholic religion, or I was raised in that Christian religion. And even though funeral rites were done for all the ancestors who have gone, until I did the Tarpanam, that they start to sing. Katina's saying, I love hearing the stories because sometimes it gets so strong and so many things happen. I wonder if I'm crazy. You're not. Spiritual breakthroughs, they actually crack our head open. And what I mean by that, not literally, but sometimes maybe they do. If you have an accident, you really wake up to life, don't you? And I have had that experience where I've cracked my head or banged my head. And it's like, whoa, but it really shook me up and made me to realize that even as careful as I am, things happen. And how did that happen? And in my case, it was the planets who were pounding on me and also the ancestors. So you may slip and fall. And you're like, wow, how did that happen? I had fallen down the stairs 3 times, a full set of stairs 3 times. Didn't break anything. It was bruised. But it was the ancestors were really restless. And I said to Dr. Pillai and to Hanuman Dasa, what the heck is going on? And they said, your ancestors, there are some restless spirits, some evil spirits, and they're really banging you up. So no kidding. Did I need a sign? So really got at it with the Tarpanam and had extra Tarpanam done, extra fire labs, even went to Kashi and all the power spots in India over the years, and that relieved those evil ancestors. So, and then I never fell after that. Knock on wood, right? So that's what happens. And so why should I be kind of happy about that? Well, I could have gone through a financial crisis or a big lawsuit or, problematic relationships or problems in the family life. It doesn't mean that there aren't those kinds of situations. It's just not really terrible anymore. So it's doable. You can deal with life. And so we touch the karma, we touch it lightly. So we have karma light, just like we have, different kinds of cheese, light cheeses or light milks or light butter, light popcorn, something light. It's not so heavy and debilitating. So CDW is saying, thanks to Dr. Pillai, and Sutra, to all the blessings of our ancestors whom you have helped us elevate, bless you endlessly. And that's what we're doing. So every time we do a spiritual practice, we don't want to just do it and hope it all works out. So when we're here at Powertime, we want you to know this is the time of the year, the doorway that you can walk through and have a karmic shower. So you can be relieved. You can let go of the baggage and really cleanse your body, your mind, your soul by participating. So again, if you cannot participate now, you start to do the Tarpanam at home. Sunrise to sunset, daylight hours, wherever you are in the world, you can do it. And cleanse yourself as best you can, shower as best. And then do it immediately after that. And direction you can be facing. Now, this is according to the Indian tradition as per Dr. Pillai. You can be facing the south. That's where he says that's where the ancestral realm is. And it kind of makes sense according to Vastu, the science of directional strength, the Vedic science of directional strength is the south, because that's where Yama is, the god of death. So the ancestors, if you have pictures of your ancestors, put them in the south, part of your house or your room, your space, your apartment, wherever it is. And they'll be happy there. Some people do ancestral offerings, lighting, incense, all that stuff. You can, but here's the thing. We don't want them to come in our space. We don't want them to hang out with us. We want them to go to higher realms. It's not that we never remember them. You can have pictures and, cool, hope you're happy. But really, we want them to go to higher realms so they will bless us and everybody here on the earth plane. Relieve how we're on a spiritual path to be relieved of pain and suffering. We want to tap into another realm that is potent with the ability to remove the sins. Sins are mistakes. They're afflictions, but they can be deadly. It can be like long and drawn out pain and suffering, and which can lead to an untimely death or a debilitating physical on different levels. So please, yes, Yogini, please do check out the year-long Tarpanam. Or, and why I'm saying that, you can do a Maha Tarpanam for your family member, but it's quite pricey. So if you look at price point for the year-long, that ancestor will be included, but you'll be doing it all year long for all the ancestors. and during all these power times. So for me, I looked and I said, oh, I want to participate in the time of Asi. And I went, oh, no, I'm already in that. So my name will be in the time of Asya service that is being offered on an individual new moon, this new moon, because I'm part of the year-long Tarpanam program. So depends on the level of the year-long program. You have to see if time of Asya is included in that. So I think I'm in the Royal Plus program. I've worked my way up. Well, I didn't. The ancestors supplied the money for it because it came out of nowhere. And so that money immediately went to doing year-long programs at Pillai Center, at Ashraved for the ancestors. It's so, so important. We're already doing spiritual stuff. We're already chanting mantras. We're doing meditations. We're being kind and charitable and so on. Why are we not breaking through? And that's what the gods said, the spiritual beings, the masters. Hey, I was a great guru. And how come I'm not benefiting? How come I can't go to the next level of my spiritual evolution? You didn't honor your ancestors, so they're not giving you the blessings. So they come once again into the earth plane at these power times to get the blessings by participating energetically at these Tarpanam spots. So you may even feel that, even though we can't be there, COVID lockdown, we can't be there. So we can do it by proxy because we don't need our body to be there. It's kind of fun for us. It's entertaining. It's kind of cool to go to this really mystical, magical place. Physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you will feel it. And then health-wise, you'll feel it because it's going beyond your experience here on the earth plane. So Barbara is saying, thank you, very powerful meditation. Namaste. Ramona is saying, how do you increase generations of the ancestors? Good question, Ramona. So Dr. Pillai says start out with 6 generations, 7 generations for some people, if that resonates with you. So you offer the Tarpanam for the mother's side of the family, 6 generations, and that's how you can say it. This is for an offering, 6 generations, 7 generations. Then you'll start to feel it cleansing and you know nothing's happening. Add 6 more, 12 generations, mother side, father side. Maybe it's only 6 for the mother side and 12, 24. You can keep doubling it, or you can go to 64 generations. You work your way up to 64, and then you just say, ancestors of all time, everywhere, all living beings, because you will get to that point where you go beyond those afflictions that you inherited. And then you start to realize that those ancestors now have gone to these heavenly realms that can create blessings for the whole world on your behalf because you called on them. You got their number, you text message in a divine way, right? So you send out an SOS or a text message or an Insta or WhatsApp, and then in a divine way. And then they respond and they say, well, what do you want? And you say, I want peace for the whole world. I want food, clothing, shelter, medicine for everybody. Our lineage is taken care of. So now what? And they say, yeah, I couldn't be charitable. I couldn't be because I was such a miserable, what. So they're happy by us telling them, go bless the whole world. Peace, love, harmony, joy, happiness, spiritual evolution. Because you guys can see it. We can. My third eye is blind. So, but you can help to open the third eye even. So it is, Ramona, the ancestors are amazing. And it's coming through the scriptures. It's not something that Dr. Pillai is making up or just belongs to the Indian tradition. It belongs to all traditions. And every tradition has Tarpanam, funeral rites. I've been to a Greek funeral. I always mention this. When I first went to a Greek funeral, I was like, what the heck are they doing? The casket was open. Everybody was going and dropping in olives and olive oil. The priest poured the olive oil all over the body, the corpse, and then they put the wine, poured it all over. And I'm just like, whoa, I had front row, and I was like in this mystical experience that I was just so rocking with this Tarpanam offering in the tradition. So, and then the kids were coming and putting the stuffed animals for the grandfather, and, you know, some jewelry was going in. I could see people dropping in this shiny stuff. And I'm like, wow, look at that, diamonds and rubies. And I was like, wow. So in every culture, every tradition, you check into it and see what they're doing. And that's a Tarpanam. That's what they're doing, is they're saying, hey, according to their scriptures, this is what the person who has passed away, the ancestor, that's what they need to go on to that next level of their spiritual evolution, because they're not of a body anymore. So that's what it is, to get the blessings of the ancestors. When I first started Tarpanam, Ivan is saying here, I was crying like a baby. I didn't realize why, but I was letting go of a lot of karma. And it's easier to let go of it when you do this, because it's kind of like any of these tools, spiritual tools or techniques that Dr. Pillai gives us. We don't really have to know about it. We just do it, and it unlocks the secret of what we're holding on to. We're holding on to secrets. We don't want anybody to know that we're so messed up and that we come from terrible, terrible lineage. And we're in pain and suffering. We're so busy putting the mask on. And even on the spiritual path, we'll all be like, I'm so spiritual. And yet we harbor, we hold on to the pain and the suffering that we can't seem to get rid of. We can't seem to let go of. And we're so embarrassed by it. Trust me, I was super embarrassed. I thought, why am I on this path with Dr. Pillai? He's a highly evolved guru. How can he accept me? I'm just so awful. I'm so full of the sins of the fathers, the forefathers, the foremothers. Like, how do I get to qualify? It doesn't matter. It's like the saints are sinners who never gave up. And so what is a saint? It's someone who says, I'm impure and I just need to keep going. I need to get the blessings. It's never any of the goody two-shoes. They already think that they are super fabulous. And yet, as Dr. Pillai has said too, those God men or women, they're not truly pure. So what it is, when he says that, is that they don't even know, because they're blocking it through what they do know. So the ancestors are who will unlock the secrets of what is blocking us from seeing and experiencing the reality. We all are God and goddesses or angels or divine beings. It just has to wake up. So the Tarpanam will wake you up to that. And everyone qualifies. No one is bad or good, better, or worse than the other. You qualify because at some level in previous lifetimes, you knew to do this, but then maybe you stopped or it got blocked, or you came into this earth plane to relieve a whole whack of ancestors of tremendous affliction and suffering and pain. That's a pretty good deed. So we always come on the spiritual path because we want to better ourselves, but we also want to do something better for the whole world. And not only this world, but other worlds, other realms, because we're going to die one day. Yep, it's going to happen. And we are going to be in the realm of the ancestors. So even that is like, make sure you got some buddies on the other side, is what I'm saying. And the ones that aren't in hellish realms. So we have the rest of our lives. Do it every day. Your daily practice, or as often as you can. And then you will feel and see the relief inside of yourselves and also in every aspect of your life and in your relatives, your family members, and so on. Kapuri is saying, thanks for such a wonderful video. I wish everyone in India understood our Vedic culture, and as a country, we can become a golden bird again. You are, and it is happening. So as with every yuga, these are time periods. The Kali Yuga is the darkest. It's the most ignorant. It's the most pain and suffering because we are in a dark period of this evolution, and we need to, because how do we go to the next stage of our evolution as a whole, or even on an individual level as you move through these eras? So we're coming into the golden age. How will we know we're coming into the golden age? Because we went through tremendous dark. And so these are the tools. If you just do this simple thing, like some people will say, well, it's not how we do it in Hinduism or Buddhism or whatever ism. It doesn't matter, because Dr. Pillai just says, hey, listen, this is a technique. It's a tool. It's a key that will unlock the secret, will release you of your suffering, release the ancestors. You've done it in lots of different lifetimes. So this is all you need to do in this lifetime. You don't have to build the pill that removes the pain. You just take the pill now that will remove the pain. And then you will know that it is unlocking the secrets. So India is going to come into the golden age, as is every country, as is every culture, every tradition. And we're going to all see that these are filters of our experience. And then we will all know that there is one tremendous power inside of ourselves, and not at just a mental level or an intellectual level or a theological level or traditional level. It's going to be a knowing that goes beyond all that knowledge. And then if collectively, pop goes the weasel, we will just have a merry-go-round time. So that's the beauty, is that it is coming, and it is going to bless every country, Kapuri. Okay, so all the links, if you scroll up, Radha has posted all the links. So Dr. Pillai's birthday, evergreen course, essentials and premier programs. If you can participate in that, Tayamavasya, what we talked about today, is posted as well. Ivan is saying, sometimes I count the generations. So let's say 6 generations, but sometimes I'll go to 108 generations. It's extremely powerful. Yeah. So the main thing is do it. And you may not feel anything, or you may feel like, oh my God, it's so freaky, scary. And it can be. Keep doing it during that session until you feel something shifted. And you will know. You can't really say which number it was. Well, you could count it if you're journaling. That's cool too. Because then you'll know, oh yeah, yesterday I did X number, and today I'm doing this number. And then the next day I did it, but I don't even know. But there was a release. And that's what the point that you'll get to, is you will know exactly how many times, repetitions you want to do it, or for how many generations you want to do it. No hard or fast rules. It's your life. It's your key. So you will unlock the secrets. And then the ancestors they're a part of your genes that will tell you, hey, feed me more or whatever, you're done now. So, and then you're not just doing this ritual because you want to feed them and hope you get the blessings. Ask them. Say, listen, I got this thing going on today, or this has been going on for a long time. I just need this gone. I'll continue to do my spiritual practices, chanting mantras, doing the meditation, being a good person, being charitable, all the rest. But you need to do it, ancestors, because you don't have this suffering body, this physical stuck reality, and have to wait for a long time for things to happen. So they will just do it immediately. And Dr. Pillai's told so many stories where the ancestors actually come in to your boss's consciousness, and all of a sudden your boss says, hey, who's that person over there? And you just know that your boss doesn't know who you are. You just work there. And all of a sudden they just know you because your ancestor got into them. And then you're having a, BFF moment with your boss. You're going, what just happened? All of a sudden you get a raise or you get a promotion. You go, thank you, ancestors. I'm going to keep feeding you. Or you have a beautiful conversation with a family member, your kid or your husband or wife, and you go, what? Scratching your head. How did that happen? Your ancestors got in. Or your neighbors. Oh, you're bickering and fighting with neighbors. All of a sudden, the ancestors get into your neighbors and they're your best friends. They would come over with a pie, a bottle of wine, whatever. So that's what will happen. Or you've been going to the bank, asking for a loan, asking for a mortgage, asking for whatever. No, you don't qualify. All of a sudden, hey, do you want this credit card that has $30,000 or whatever it is? That happened to me once. I'm going, what? They said, oh yeah, according to the number over here, and because they just have charts in the bank. They said, just sign here. And I went, okay. And then I had this credit limit that just was like through the roof, and my salary didn't change. So that's what can happen. Or relief from disease or suffering. And like I said, I fell down three times through full sets of stairs, and no broken bones, no cracked head or anything. And that was a miracle. Those were miracles. So your spiritual practices will protect you, but then you got to find out, whoa, who's tripping me up here? Or falling on the ice, where you just walk out and you're very careful, and all of a sudden it's like a wind came and took your feet and flipped you. You're just, what? I was so careful. So be careful. And if you have this anxiety or you're fearful of everything, fearful of snakes especially too, those are curses that the ancestors are being afflicted with, and then you're experiencing it and you're like, what? So if any of those things that we've mentioned are resonating with you, explore and see who you're related to, and see who you're distant from, or see, aborted or miscarried or adopted. You had to give your child away. That can be the ancestors who are taking your children away before they're even born, or when they're born, they're gone from you. So you can think of it as a cultural thing, or, this is what you needed to do. But then those souls of those unborn are around you, and they're causing you to do immature things because they're not grown up. Or it could be children that you've had that have been taken out before, they lived a full life, or any of your ancestors. So watch this again. It's the most powerful time of the year, one of the most powerful times of the year, to get the blessings of the ancestors and start to be relieved of your pain and suffering. And it is something that will be forever a blessing for you and your family. So, Katina is saying, I do it every day, but what blows my mind, when sparks come out of the flame, and especially sparks beside the flame, it happens all the time. Okay, cool. So can a woman, Ramona is saying, can a woman order a Vedic funeral to remove pitru dosha, or should the regular Tarpanam remove? I'm not sure what you mean, but anyone can order the Tarpanam. So you can do it. And that will remove the pitru dosha. I know in some of the traditions, they have certain rules and regulations, just like Christians, Catholics have certain rules and regulations. But being on a spiritual path, you respect that. But then if the suffering isn't being removed, you've got to do something, a spiritual science. So it's spiritual. It's non-denominational. It's anyone can do it, and you can receive the blessings. It's not that you're disrespecting the culture, tradition. You're saying, look, I need to go deeper into it. So you can get the pitru dosha, which means pitru is the ancestors, the dosha is affliction. It can be removed. Girl, boy, mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparents, you will do it. And then whoever is in your gene pool, they will be relieved as you continue to do it more and more and more. Ningai is Ninganal. Ninginalal. Wow, cool name. I was totally knocked out during the meditation. So if you are knocked out, or if you feel dizzy or sick, or even afterwards and around this new moon, beware. Heads up, don't be freaked out, but just a heads up. Try not to do too many mundane things. Take some time on the new moon and pray for your ancestors sincerely. Even if you don't do Tarpanam, not really interested in doing that, that's fine. Pray though. Connect with them. Ask for them to be blessed. You want to do self-care because you may be really out of sorts. So you can take a salt water, put a little bit of salt crystals, maybe some Himalayan crystals or salt, Epsom salts, some rock salts, maybe like a handful in a bathtub size. Or if you don't want to immerse yourself fully in a bath, maybe pop your feet into a bucket of water and a handful of the salts. And then you can do the Arutparam Jyoti or Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana chants. Those Om Namah Shivaya is for Shiva and Om Namo Narayana is for Vishnu. He's the god of the heavens. So he's the one who says, hey, ancestors, come into heaven. He's the party god, as Dr. Pillai coins him as that. Term is party god, meaning that everything that's in heaven there's no suffering in heaven. It's a party. So the ancestors who are really struggling and suffering and hanging upside down, being tortured in hellish realms, they can go and be relieved. So Vishnu says, hey, come on in. And then Shiva is, the being that is going to remove those karmic afflictions. He removes the pain and the suffering. And Arutparam Jyoti, vast light. It's so compassionate, merciful, forgiving. If you haven't been able to forgive, as I admit to, and I experienced it, I was like, okay, I'm on the spiritual path, but I can't forgive. I just won't. I just can't. It's too painful. I'm so upset. How could that ever happen? It does. It removes you. You can still have those thoughts, but you aren't charged with that negative congested energies. It kind of like pushes your button, but it doesn't do anything anymore. And so you just kind of laugh about it. So that's how you will change your destiny. It's not like you're going to go somewhere. It's just how you are experiencing life is with more grace and ease and freedom and joy. And you just laugh because really, it's such a drama we hold on to, and it did happen, and it, someone should be punished, or maybe everybody should be, and why me, and all this stuff. And you just, oh my God, I'm so tired of this. And so you don't have to throw your hands up. You can just put your hand out and offer the Tarpanam and see what happens. All right, so Nenga is saying, I've signed up for the royal package, been doing it for 2 years. Awesome. And you will see in your life, all the areas of your life, even if you've had the worst life, that you can't imagine anyone else going through what you went through, and how to come out of it, and how to be prosperous, and then how to help everyone in your gene pool. Because that's what we did. We said, when we were a little spark of soul, we said to God or goddess or whoever it is up there, I'll go into that gene pool. I'll go play that game of life. And then we get here and we forget. Oh, wow. But at the level of soul, you never forget. So that has been awakened. And this tool that you can use is like your chintamani. It's like your philosopher's stone. It's like your golden egg. You hold on to that. It's your talisman. You can go into realms and be protected and fight the battles, and you don't have to do anything. So that's what the Tarpanam is. It's the blessings of the ancestors. Everyone does it here on the earth plane or on other planes as well, who know about how it will help everyone to evolve. And wouldn't that be a better life, a better world? So I just think of it as brushing my teeth, do my Tarpanam, and then receive the benefits. So take care of yourselves during this new moon. Pray for your ancestors. Pray for you to be relieved of all the suffering so that you carry the charge no more. It will be there maybe, but you won't be brought down. And then eventually, as you go along and do the Tarpanam, participate as you can in the Tarpanam as they come up, these special new moons, or if you want to start to get into the year-long Tarpanam, then that is really going to do you a world of good. And God only knows what you can and cannot do. So whatever you can do, and like everyone who has shared about being in a year-long program, and I shared as well, this is just a monthly payment. It just goes, just like every other monthly payment that I need to sustain my life, my spiritual life. The spiritual path is the most important, because that is going to be after this life is over, then what? So whatever you can do in this lifetime for your spiritual path to be graceful and easy, and you're riding the golden chariot on your way out, then why not? So be proactive and be blessed, and thank Dr. Pillai for guiding your soul, regardless of what anyone else thinks. It's about you. You cannot negate you, because you're here and you're listening, and something is saying, I need to find a way out. So please explore it. And if you have any questions, send them into office@pillaiCenter.com. And you can give me a heads up, sucharita@pillaiCenter.com as well. Or if you have some experiences that you want to share and you don't really want to put it here in a public forum, you can definitely send it in. Lots of people do. They send me emails and say, hey, I started out with Dr. Pillai on YouTube, or I met him in person, or I met him on an India trip, or I never met him. Do I need to meet him? I feel like he's with me all the time and he's guiding me. And that's what a spiritual master does. You don't have to see him in person. You can have an image of him, a picture, a statue, and then show the light and do your spiritual practices, and you will be forever guided and protected to come out of the harms and hurdles, even during the whole world's worst time. COVID, what? Lockdown, what? Losing my mind, what? What do I do now? This is it. So Ivan is saying I really needed to hear this. I'm so happy. I've been doing Tarpanam now for about 6 months. It's been so beneficial. I'm blessed, and thanks to you and Dr. Pillai. Awesome. Yeah, it's my most favorite thing to do and to speak about and share about, because unlike lots of people on the spiritual path who came from these fabulous backgrounds, I came from pretty turbulent background. Not bad. It's just afflicted. A lot of challenges all around, and there was just no way out. And this was the way, and is the way, continues to be it. And then Dr. Pillai said, if your karma is so stubborn, so you can't get at it, any way you've tried, chipping away at it, if that's all you did was Tarpanam, your life will change. So with that, God bless you all. Thank you so much, Radha, and everybody here who's been participating and sharing and caring for one another as you do. Be blessed, and we will see you when we see you next. Namaste.